Hey everybody, this is Kingslayer back with another video, and I know it's been a minute. I said I was going to try and keep you guys a little more updated on the playoffs, but I've had a lot going on over the course of this week. Been discussing the June season with some of the other admins. I've been working on some scheduling stuff for the June season, and just had some personal stuff going on, work, and well, I was involved in a car accident earlier this week, but no worries, everyone's okay, everyone's safe. So anyway, I'm here to bring you guys some material for our playoffs, as we've already had a few rounds now, and gonna give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek for next season. We're gonna have some big changes on the way, and still working out a few of the details with the other admins right now, but we are going to go into a little bit of what is to come next month. It's going to get pretty exciting, so I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. So, first things first, let's get into the present before we get into the future. So, we have already played a few rounds of the playoffs, as mentioned before, and so far we have seen a lot of really good matches and a lot of really good competitors. So, we had a top 16 this month, and it was double elimination, and so far we have already crowned um, our winners bracket representative. So now we're going to be waiting to see who takes the losers bracket now. So let's get into some of the really good matchups that we've seen so far. So day one, you can see right here on your screen, we had some of our some of our division champions taking on some of our other division champions, plus our 5 wild cards. Um, so far it has been a really good race. We saw our top few who clinched spots early on having major success here, such as Arkra, Dragfall, Ziva. Ziva actually lost in the first round of the playoffs and ended up falling down to the losers bracket. Um, we did see already this season our April champion Exotic get knocked out of the playoffs. So that does mean that we're going to see a new champion this month. And I'm honestly not expecting to see the same person winning almost every month anyway. But it was Exotic has had a really good run. Again, making it all the way back to the playoffs for the second season in a row. And now that we have gone public this month, we are seeing a lot of those global competitors um, doing really well. So right now, in the winners bracket, we have actually, again, as stated before, we've already seen the winner for the winners bracket, and that is Dragfall. Dragfall was the first competitor to clinch their division this month, which means that they were the first confirmed playoff competitor. So it's not really a huge surprise that they won the winners bracket here. Um, they kind of were an early favorite to win. So now Dragfall is going to get a 2-day bye to face the winner of the losers bracket on May 31st. And I believe I said so in my last video, but in case I didn't, May 31st is our other admin, Shiny Goddess's birthday. So she's going to get a nice birthday gift to watch the championship between Dragfall and whoever wins the losers bracket. So, moving on to the losers bracket, right now we have Arkra and Skittles currently waiting on their opponents for tomorrow's game. And Dolphin is going to get to sit out tomorrow and face their opponent on the 30th, as Dolphin was the last competitor to fall to the losers bracket. So they are going to get a bye day. Dragfall is getting 2 bye days. And the rest of the competitors still in it, well, they are playing every single day for the rest of the month. I should mention on this day, the 29th, Arkra will face the winner of today's match between Lord Rylek and Zenith. And Skittles will face the winner between Megain and Matthew419. So we see two of our really big streamers, really popular Twitter and YouTube content creators right there in the losers bracket. We wish the best of luck to you, but we also have to wish the best of luck to your opponents because we can't be biased here. So we actually wish the best of luck to everyone here in the playoffs. So again, Lord Rylek and Zenith will be facing off, and the winner will be facing Arkra. Arkra came into the playoffs top seed and ended up falling to Dragfall, I believe, yesterday. Whereas Skittles here fell to Dolphin, also yesterday. So, one thing I would like to mention here is Zenith and Megain have faced each other 4 times now this season. They are in the same division. Zenith won the division, Megain wildcarded in, and then they somehow got seeded against each other in round 1 because that's actually just how the seeds fell. So they faced each other 4 times already this season, and there is a possibility that on the 30th they could face each other a 5th time, assuming neither of them lose before then. So again, the winner of the game on the 30th will have to go on to play a second game on the same day against Dolphin, and the winner of that game will face Dragfall in our May finals. So you're going to want to keep an eye on these matches. They're getting really intense. They're getting really good. Several of these competitors in our playoffs have already been confirmed to be playing in June. We do have a couple who will not be, so there is a chance that we could have a champion that doesn't defend in June. In that case, we would again have a new champion for June. So keep an eye on these competitors. They're really good. And without further ado, I would like to show you guys a little sneak peek of what we at CFU have come up with for next month's competition. So before we get started, I would like to mention here that the divisions that you see and the matches that you may see on this screen are not final. There's a chance we could have dropouts. There is also the chance that more competitors could be added into certain divisions to make them a little more even. So this is not final. This is a rough draft of what we have currently, as we continue to work on this and try and have it finished within the next couple of days. We are still taking signups for sub-ins. What that means is if you have not signed up, yes, it is too late. However, you can be signed up as a sub-in, and if we have a no-show on day 1, where somebody doesn't show up, they decided they didn't want to play, etc., etc., you can be inserted in their place. So if you want to sign up as a sub-in because you didn't get a chance to sign up as a competitor, do so in the server. It's in the same channel, the roles and signups channel. Again, signing up as a sub-in does not guarantee that you will be inserted into our June League, but we will. There's a possibility you could be, but that is going to be the only way you can compete in June for now. So, with that said, we kind of took a poll in the server, and it seems to be the most popular opinion for format, as we discussed a possible change in format, was actually 2-deck. So for those who don't know what 2-deck is, it is a format where each competitor takes 2 decks of different clans into a match, and basically they play sort of like a best of 3. And the first competitor to win with both of their decks wins the match. So say player A beats player B, now they have to switch over to their other deck. Player B can continue to play the same deck, or they can switch to their other deck. However, if player B does switch and then wins, they have to switch back to their first. So I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. But again, it's basically like a best of 3. You have to win with 2 different decks. With that stated, we had several competitors mention that they didn't actually have a second competitive deck yet. So we said, how about we kind of compromise here and we hold off until July. Since that is the more competitive format, we do want to represent what the community wants. However, we want to be as inclusive as we possibly can. So we're giving the competitors who don't have that second deck a month to kind of build a second deck so that they will have a fair chance in July. So with that stated, for June, in order to kind of produce a slow transition toward 2-deck, we did go ahead and decide to transition June into a best of 3 format. A lot of competitors have said that they find that to be more competitive. I, as someone who plays the TCG competitively, do also agree with that. Best of 3 tends to be more competitive. It's a lot more skill based. You don't have to worry about as trigger sack as badly and things like that. So we are going to go ahead and move to best of 3 for the June season. What that means is our playoffs will be going back to single elimination, because best of 3 double elimination is just really tedious on the competitors. So we're going to go to best of 3 single elimination. However, that does still mean you have to lose 2 games to be knocked out. It's just now it's 2 games against the same person. So with that said, division matches will now go from being 3 times per division opponent to 1 time per division opponent. So you guys are going to have more out of division matchups than you had. So with that said, one of our other admins, Shiny Goddess, I know a lot of you guys have talked with her on the server. She's really cool. She decided to come up with this idea so that, since in order to compensate for having more out of division matches and the possibility of time zones being a little more restrained, a little more differing, she has proposed what we were calling the 48-hour rule. So basically, if you are scheduled for a match on, say, Wednesday, June 3rd, you can actually play that game up to 48 hours in advance. And that's to help those competitors who are having a little more issues with time constraints, especially when those matches are against people possibly on the other side of the globe. So now, when you see this match here that says Wednesday, June 3rd, you can actually play that game on June 1st if it fits both competitors. And the same goes for, say, Saturday, June 6th. You can play it up on June 4th if you want to. Again, this is just to kind of help you guys with time, because sometimes we just don't have time to do stuff. And that is why we have tried our best to make it to where you only have to play 1 match a day, because some people just don't have time for a full bracket tournament in 1 day. So we're doing the best that we can to make sure that you guys have the time to play your matches, so that no one takes automatic losses, nobody takes double losses, things like that. So we're really excited to see where that goes. And if you guys want to keep using that 48-hour rule, like, go for it. Like, legit, we would rather have the matches played early than not played at all. So with that said, right now we do have 14 divisions of 6 competitors at the moment each. We do have a few that, due to just we had an uneven number of people sign up, we do have a few that have 7 competitors in them, because we didn't have quite enough to make another division of 6, so we just kind of had to stick them into other divisions. We have a couple of divisions of 7, which means that those divisions will have 1 more division game than all the others. I'm going to get into the playoff bracket in just a second. That has changed due to the single elimination rules and the fact that the league has grown. I would like to throw in here really quickly that I personally have reached out. A lot of you guys have seen that Bushiroad is trying to get in contact with tournament organizers and basically make these tournaments official, so that the winners can get in-game gotcha packs and things like that. Our league is set up differently than a lot of other tournaments. So, that does kind of put a little bit of a bind on things. However, I have reached out to Bushiroad and I am working to see what we can do to accommodate for the fact that our setup is a little different. So stay tuned, stay in touch. We may end up having a couple rule changes. We don't know yet. But we do want to do what we can for our community. Therefore, we are pursuing this outlet that Bushiroad has created. We are pursuing it. We do want to become Bushiroad official here to help you guys as our community because you guys are our number one priority. So, with that said, we're really excited about that. We want to see our winners get gotcha packs. We want to see our winners get rewarded, and we want to see this league grow. And we think this is a good way for it to do so. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into the playoff bracket. So if you'll notice, it does look a little different here. So first things first, I would like to mention that in May, we had a 16-person bracket. However, we also had around 50-ish competitors, a little more, a little less. Signed up for June so far, we have 94. So we didn't think it was really all that fair to keep a 16-person playoff with 94 competitors because that would just make things a lot harder for you guys. So we have expanded our playoffs. Our playoff system is now 24 seeds. And the reason that we went with 24 is mainly we wanted to expand without expanding too far because we did want it to seem like this was a work to get into, obviously. However, we wanted to go with this sort of bracket system right here. Now, if you notice, again, we have 24. It goes all the way up to seed 24 here. But if you notice, the top 8 seeds here all have first round bye. So, we wanted to kind of push the idea that even if you clinch, you still have something to work for. We don't want competitors to basically clinch their division within, with 5 or 6 games left in the season, and then feel like, well, I've already clinched and made playoffs. What else is there to do? So we have added in the first round bye for the top 8 competitors, in order to, sort of give those competitors who have already clinched something to work toward, as these 8 slots will go to the top 8 division champions. Now, as stated before, we will have 14 divisions. So that means that slightly over half of the division champions will get a first round bye, and a little less than half will not. So now you can clinch your division and you still go, ooh, I still want to win my games because I want a first round bye in the playoffs. When the playoffs are single elimination, a first round bye is pretty big because with this current setup, you have 16 competitors still jumping into the first round. 8 of them are going to lose. So that means 8 competitors are being knocked out before you even play your first game if you get the bye. So effectively about a third of your competition gets knocked out before you even have to play. So that first round bye is really nice, and it's definitely something that you're going to want to pursue as a division champion. So that is kind of why we decided to do it. It gives you a chance to, or it gives you initiative to continue pushing forward until the end of the season. When I played sports, when I played football specifically, we were always told to play to the whistle, which means play until the very end. Don't stop short. So this is kind of like initiative to do that. So basically, with that said, the top 8 division champions will get a first round bye. The bottom 6 division champions will take seeds 9 through 14. So that leaves 10 slots that do not go to division champions. So how are those slots determined? So, for those of you who played in May or maybe spectated in May, you saw what we called the wild card chase. And a lot of people were really into that. And we are continuing to do the wild card chase. However, we are going to be doing something slightly different. So, let me get into that. So, last season, we saw 5 spots in the wild card make the playoffs. And the way that that worked was basically everyone who was not a division champion was automatically added into the wild card chase, and the top 5 records amongst non-division champions also made the playoffs. We're going to continue doing that. However, again, with an expanded league, you want to make it a little more inclusive. So the wild card chase has now been expanded to the top 8 players. And yes, we did have a tie last season for 5th place. It went down to basically the record of the competitors' opponents. So basically the ones that played the toughest schedule made it in out of the ties. So for those of you who are doing the math in your heads already, you're going to notice that I announced 14 division champions and I announced 8 people in the wild card chase. That does not equal 24. It equals 22. So, how are the last 2 slots determined? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, we have decided at CFU, again, to listen to our community, and our community, some of our community at least has asked for special events for us to do during the season. And originally we were going to do one in the middle of the season, but we found this to be a little more catering toward our schedule. So basically, you guys are about to switch to a more than likely, again, our schedule is not 100% confirmed. This is a rough draft. But you guys are more than likely going to be switching to an 18-game schedule to be played from June 1st through June 18th. There will be 3 days in between the end of the regular season and the first round of the playoffs. You guys are free to take these as bye days if you want to. However, this event that we are going to be hosting, we're calling the Tag Team Clash. And the way that this works is it's supposed to be kind of foreshadowing for 2-deck format. So no worries if you don't have 2 decks by this date either. That's what the team's for. So this event is going to be each competitor is going to be forming teams, and these teams are going to be competing. These are teams of 2. They're all going to be competing against each other during these 3 days, and the winning team will claim the final 2 spots in the playoffs. So there really isn't any initiative for those who have made the playoffs before this. However, if you want to compete in this just for the fun of it, please go ahead. If you end up winning the event, we already are coming up with backup plans for if the winners of this event are already in the playoffs, because we do need 24 people in the playoffs to make that bracket look nice and even. So, I'm going to go into some of the rules that we have already established for Tag Team Clash so that you guys can get a little bit of a heads up on what is to come during these 3 days. And I think my finger was all up in that last shot. But anyway, so the Tag Team Clash format will be hosted for 3 days, June 19th through 21st, as you guys just saw in the last shot. So you're going to be forming teams of 2. The participants themselves, you guys, the competitors, are going to be the ones who determine who teams with who. So you guys reach out to each other, PM each other, however you want to do it, and form your teams. You cannot be on multiple teams, so you're going to want to choose your partner wisely, because you two are going to be depending on each other to get each other this playoff spot. Seeds 23 and 24 don't have to face each other for a good while into the playoffs, so don't worry about, oh no, we're going to get in the playoffs together and then have to face each other in round 1. That's not how playoffs work. So that's not how seeds fall. You guys would end up more than likely in like opposite sides of the bracket and wouldn't face each other until more than likely the finals. So you're helping each other here. the way that this is going to work is it's going to be very, very similar to two-deck format. Two participants on each team. During a match, those two competitors cannot play the same clan. So if I'm teaming with someone and I want to play Kagero, they cannot play Kagero during that match. Now, when we challenge a different team later on that day or whatever, and my teammate wants to play Kagero, they can play Kagero and I have to play a different deck. So you can switch clans between matches against different teams. However, you can't switch decks within the same match. So once you start a match with Kagero or Royal Paladin or Spike Brothers, you got to continue playing that for both games of your match, assuming you have to play two. So, so basically the way this format is going to work is it's sort of a free-for-all. So you guys are actually in control of your own matches during these 3 days. Again, you can choose to not participate at all, especially if you've already gotten a playoff spot. You have nothing to play for at this point. You can just take a 3-day bye. This format is actually mainly catered toward those who feel like they wouldn't have a playoff shot otherwise. So if you've already been knocked out of the wild card chase, you know you can't get it, this is your shot at the playoffs anyway. So this is to help a lot of those players. So anyway, this is a free-for-all format. You guys are going to be in charge of your own matches. You challenge other teams. They accept. You guys play your match, and you record the results and our match results. So we're going to have a specialized channel for the tag team clash match results so it doesn't get drowned out. So the only catch is you can't face the same team twice. So once you've already challenged a team during those 3 days, you can't challenge them again. Otherwise, you would just have a bunch of repeated matches. So you have to branch out to other teams. You want to face as many of them as you possibly can because of the way this is set up. Basically, you want to be that team on top. You want to be the winning team. So the team that has the most wins is going to win this whole event. So if you challenge one or two teams and then you never challenge anyone again, your chances are very slim to none of winning this event over somebody who may have challenged 12, 13, 15, maybe 20 other teams. Games 1 and 2 are to be played at the same time. So basically, my teammate and I would be challenging another team. I face one member of their team, my teammate faces the other member, and those two games are going to be happening at the same time. Now, if my teammate and I both win our games, then we've already both won. So in 2-deck, the idea is to win with both of your decks. In Tag Team Clash, the idea is for both team members to win. So still pretty similar. So if my teammate and I both win our games, our team has already won the match, there's no need for a game 3. However, if I win my game and my teammate loses, then my teammate who lost has to face my opponent who lost in game 3. That way, it comes down to both members of a team have to win in order for the match to be won. So if you win your game, you don't play another game that match. You only play another game if you lost. So keep that in mind because a lot of systems would work otherwise. But again, this is meant to reflect very similarly to 2-deck format as it is supposed to be foreshadowing for July season. Again, just you're in control of your own matches, so you're going to want to challenge as many teams as you possibly can. If you've got all weekend and you just want to go back to back to back and face every other team, go for it because that's going to increase your chances the most of being the winning team with the most points at the end of this event. So again, the team with the most points at the end of this event, the most wins for matches is wins the event, and both members of that team get the final 2 spots in the playoffs. So this is your chance. If you didn't already earn a spot, this is your best chance at doing so. And again, if you already have playoff spots and you want to jump in, like I said, the other admins of CFU and I have already been talking about formatting and things like that, and we don't want to limit you guys. You know, everybody's going to want to participate in side events, regardless of whether or not there's initiative. People like to practice, and especially if they're very competitive like me. So Me for the TCG, that is. I usually play Zero kind of just for fun. So anyway, so we do ask that you guys keep a lot of the team chat, such as when are you ready, blah 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 blah. Try to keep that in like PMs or something, just so that we don't get a whole bunch of stuff drowned out in our channels. But basically, this is a free for all. This is meant to be for fun. So again, you're gonna want those playoff spots, especially if we can get official with Bushiroad, because the ideal goal is for us to get official, hopefully for June season. So if not for the entire league itself, at least for the playoffs. So you're going to want to get into these playoffs ASAP. You're going to want the best shot at doing so because there could be gacha packs waiting at the end of it if we can get on with Bushiroad. So this would still be for fun, but you'd get free prizes at the end. Like, we're not charging entry fees here. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it for our June season sneak peek. For those of you who are in the playoffs still, good luck. For those of you who are spectating, keep an eye on it because it's getting really good. We're coming down to the last few days of the season. And thanks for watching.